Good day, I'm Rex Lita with the news update. Early this morning, a 9-year-old girl died in the remote western province due to non-availability of antivenom. A health worker at Dodormona Health Facility, in a post on his Facebook page early this morning, shared this devastating news. Little Annie was bitten by a death adder on Monday afternoon while fetching water from a small creek. She was brought to the aid post but succumbed to the venom. Titus, in his post, only wished the health facility had antivenoms to save a child. The Supreme Court has adjourned the review into the leave application for convicted lawyer Paul Paraka to next week, giving him ample time to prepare his documents. Presided over by Justice David Cannings as a single judge, Cannings adjourned the matter, giving sufficient time for the lawyer to prepare his documents after Paraka informed the court of an additional document that was presented to him over the weekend to support his leave application. Representing himself in court, Paraka said the additional document, which is required to support his leave application, was filed on Monday morning. Therefore, he asked the court to adjourn the matter so he can prepare the documents before he makes submissions. Paraka, who was recently sentenced to 20 years imprisonment for 5 counts of misappropriation of state monies, appeared before the court on Monday to review his leave application, seeking orders to stay outside the Bomana Correctional Institute on leave of absence. It was refused on October 18, 2023 by the Supreme Court. Lawyer representing the state, Helen Rualakona, objected the Paraka's appeal, stating that the notice of the leave application has reached the 40 days from the date of his conviction on October 4, 2023. Nurse Fund, through its Young Savers campaign, has recently reached out to high schools to promote superannuation literacy awareness among students. The campaign commenced this year and is currently driven by the fund's marketing team with the aim of encouraging more young people to think long-term and plan for their retirement at an early age. Chief Executive Officer Rajiv Sharma, who was the guest speaker during the St. Joseph International Catholic College's recent graduation ceremony, used the opportunity to speak to more than 100 grade 12 and grade 10 students, including parents, about the importance of saving for retirement. He emphasized to the graduating students how longevity and inflation would impact their future and encouraged them to practice a saving culture at an early age to reap the benefits of the cumulative compounding interests. In regional news, actress Cynthia Nixon has joined a hunger strike in front of the White House, with activists calling for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza.
Washington, D.C. has seen large protests in recent weeks, both in support of American support for Israel and calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. Today, a group of protesters has launched a hunger strike right here in front of the White House. They want the US President Joe Biden to hear their calls for a permanent ceasefire.
You know, we've seen in the last couple of days what happens when there's a ceasefire, how hostages can be returned and political prisoners can be returned and humanitarian aid and water and food can come in.
We know that every day that we do not take action is another life that did not need to be lost. And it is clear that our actions here, starving ourselves, we are doing so because the policies of this White House are starving Palestinians.
Today, Mr. Biden has welcomed the extension of the truce and the release of more hostages, emphasising the pause has allowed a surge in humanitarian aid to Gaza. But he remains under pressure domestically. Members of his party will be planning to join this protest later in the week. Some of the protesters are saying they'll refuse food for 5 days.
The developers of a 100 wind farm on Tasmania's northwest coast had a major wind today. A condition that required it to shut down for 5 months has been removed, paving the way for its approval.
Year, hundreds of orange-bellied parrots make the treacherous journey across Bass Strait to Victoria. Usually fewer than half survive. Last year it was only 77, making them one of Australia's most critically endangered birds, and it could be about to become more dangerous.
These parrots won't understand that all of a sudden in this year's migration there's going to be a field of these turbines right where it's traditionally flown through.
A 100-turbine wind farm looks set to be built on Robbins Island, and it could stand in the path of the parrots' migration. To keep them safe, Tasmania's Environment Protection Authority had said the wind farm would have to shut down for 5 months of the year. Developer ACEN Energy argued this would make the wind farm unviable, saying the parrot hadn't been seen on the island for decades. Today, the state's planning tribunal decided the 720-megawatt wind farm could operate year-round.
We need renewable energy and we need to protect our threatened species. I think we're smart enough as a state and as a government, as proponents, and working with the federal government as well to find a way through.
ACEN hopes to start construction in 2025, believing the wind farm will provide energy for new Tasmanian industrial uses. But there's still one key hurdle. It needs Commonwealth approval, with the federal government expected to hand down its decision next year.
Prime Minister Albanese should move in and protect Robbins Island. It's an absolute treasure. It's a globally important treasure.
Opponents are considering their legal options. As Australia plans to significantly increase its wind resources, Robbins Island could be a sign of things to come.
Darwin's bottle shop security guards are next in line to be armed with capsicum spray under the territory government's proposed liquor laws.
The heat is on as summer approaches, with the NT government set to turn up the temperature on liquor laws.
I know these will cause some disruption to people. It's a bit of a pain. But this is about making sure we protect our community and make the tough decisions to do so.
Sweeping new changes acting on a review of alcohol policy from earlier this year.
And if this means increasing the number of people on the BDR, then that's what we'll do.
Included in the government's proposed changes, a new police power to ban people from drinking for 7 days to be issued to anyone found acting disorderly or anyone found to be consuming alcohol within 2 kilometres of a licensed premises or anywhere alcohol is banned. In addition, from December, Darwin bottle shops will open from noon for a 6 to 8 week trial period to allow police to focus resources elsewhere.
Later opening hours will be beneficial for our operations, and ultimately protecting vulnerable people in our community.
And security guards on Darwin bottle shops will now follow in the footsteps of transit safety officers, arming themselves with capsicum spray.
There are really strong measures in there that it won't be misused and that Territorians are safe, but it's being used for the right reason.
These laws will be rushed through Parliament this week, likely with the support of the opposition. But the CLP say Labor is implementing these ideas far too late.
What's frustrating is that it's taken us months to actually see this come to fruition.
With just 3 days of sittings left this year, Territory Parliament this week is likely to be dominated yet again by alcohol and crime.
In sports, PNG men's boxing team lit up the boxing ring in their bouts yesterday at the 2023 Solomon Islands Pacific Games. PNG's Alan Oike won his quarter-final bout in the 57 kg weight division, and Jamie Cheng advanced to the next round of the fight after defeating Dennis Ilaha of Solomon Islands in the 54 kg weight division by unanimous decision. Bid Inoino and Kani Oike also grabbed a win each in the 54 kg and 46 to 48 weight divisions respectively to advance to the next rounds of fight. Fidelis Laya fought hard but went down to his Tahitian opponent. PNG's Wani Palme also suffered defeat to Solomon Islands by unanimous decision in the 75 kg weight division. The PNG boxing events continue today. In the other events, yesterday, PNG bodybuilding pocketed 3 gold medals, 2 silver and 1 bronze medal. And that wraps up the Midday News Update. Join us for more at 6 p.m.